Welcome to Let the Quran Speak. We're looking at misunderstood Quranic verses, and the verse we're looking at today is from chapter 17, verse 7. We've been following the story of the children of Israel and the corruption that led to two promises against them. Now we're going to look at the second promise of destruction, and with me is Dr. Shabir. Dr. Shabir, welcome to Let the Quran Speak.
Pleasure to be on.
So, Dr. Shabir, the verse we're looking at goes like this in English. If you are virtuous for the sake of your own souls, and if you commit evil, it is for them. So when the other promise comes to pass, they will make wretched your faces and enter the temple as they entered it the first time, and utterly ruin whatsoever they overtake. That is the translation from the Study Quran. So I guess, Dr. Shabir, the question is this something that happened already, or will it come to pass? What was this event?
Yeah, so classical commentators took this to be a reference to something that already happened in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And some modern commentators are trying to interpret this in a way to refer to an event yet to happen in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important that we differentiate between these two possibilities and see which one bears more weight. And Sophia, just to give context to our present discussion, lest anyone should wonder, like, why all these verses are that we're choosing are about the people of Israel. We didn't choose it that way. We're just dealing systematically with the misunderstood verses in the Quran, starting with the beginning of the Quran, second chapter, third, all the way up to now. We are at the 17th chapter. And it just so happens that the early verses of this 17th chapter, and many other verses as well, in this chapter, it's actually called Bani Israel, the chapter of the people of Israel. So there's a lot of Israelite history here, and that's why it seems that one after another we've dealt with misunderstood verses having something to do with Israelite history. So it's a kind of a continuous narrative here that we've been looking at verse after verse. So now coming to verse number 7, which is what we are dealing with, and you read the English translation. The Arabic says, In ahsantum ahsantum li anfusikum. So God is speaking to the people of Israel and saying, if you do good, then you do good for your own soul. Wa in asa'tum falaha. And if you do evil, then it's against your own soul. فَإِذَا جَاءَ وَعْدُ الْآخِرَةِ لِيَسُوءُوا وُجُوهَكُمْ. And when the second promise came for them to ruin your faces, وَلِيَدْخُلُوا الْمَسْجِدَ كَمَا دَخَلُوهُ أَوَّلَ مَرَّةٍ وَلِيُتَبِّرُوا مَا عَلَوْا تَتْبِيرًا. And for them to enter for them here is a reference to God's servants. Previous reference was to God's servants who came in and caused the first destruction of Israel. So now the warning is that now the second destruction comes. The soldiers, you can say, or some servants of God, come in to cause your faces to come to ruin, and then they go in and they destroy everything that they happen to get ascendancy over. وَلِيُتَبِّرُوا مَا عَلَوْا تَتْبِيرًا. What is this referring to then? That's the original question. Is this a past event from our past, or is it something to happen yet in our future, especially a near future?
Yeah, and it would help to know what the Israelites did as well, right? Like it says that they caused corruption, but was there some sort of event in history that we can point to, or even now, okay, they're causing widespread corruption, and therefore there will be this destruction of them?
Yeah.
So that's also part of it, I think.
Yes. And it's interesting that you brought that question in, because that even changes what I was going to say. Our Christian friends believe generally that the destruction of the Jewish temple that occurred under the Jewish revolt between the years 66 to 70, under the reign of the Roman Emperor Titus, was due to the fact that the Jewish people as a whole at that time were complacent with the actions of some of the Jewish leaders in the time of Jesus, who conspired to get Jesus killed. They think that as a result of this enmity of the Jewish leaders at the time towards the prophet of God, Jesus, whom for Christians is, and for Muslims as well, as God's Messiah, and for Christians even more than this, and they put him to death according to the Christian narratives and the Gospels, that for that, the retribution from God is that their temple is destroyed, and the people are scattered into a diaspora. Classical Muslim commentators followed a similar thought in that they said that in answer to your question then, what was that they did? They pointed to this rejection of Jesus and attempt to crucify him. And the Quranic narrative says in Surah 4, verse 157, they boasted, we killed Jesus, son of Mary, the Messiah. So they got this as a result of the evils that they committed.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So now let's talk about the event then, Dr. Shabir.
Yeah, so the event, from the Muslim classical commentators, it was a past event, already done. 70 CE, the Romans came in, they demolished the temple. In fact, they demolished so much that only what remains of the surrounding wall is that piece that is known as the Western Wall, and it's also called the Wailing Wall, and that's where our Jewish friends to this day would go and offer their prayers. On what was the Temple Mount, now we have the Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa, which is a new construction after the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and the Dome of the Rock Mosque. The temple itself is no longer there. So if we say that this verse is speaking about a future event, well,
which some modern commentators think,
yes, right? Then it would seem that you would need the temple to be rebuilt in order to be destroyed. But somebody may say, well, it doesn't have to be a temple. It could be that the Temple Mount itself that would be entered, and then, destruction will follow. But that seems to be a weak argument.
So why do some Muslims think that it's a future event and not something in the past?
Well, part of their argument is tied to a verse which we must now look at as well. In the same surah, the 104th verse, which uses similar wording to the present verse, speaking about a final event. Mm-hmm. So the Wa'd al-Akhirah, the last of the two promises, or the last promise. So perhaps when we discuss that, it will become clearer why they think that this is a future event.
All right. Very interesting insights, Dr. Shabir. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Muslim Media Hub, the new home of Let the Quran Speak.
Here we spread positivity and good. We help people experience the beauty of Islam and help them appreciate and understand Muslims.
This beautiful building we purchased at cost $2.3 million.
Yeah, we've already raised a third of that money, and with your help, inshallah, we can pay off the rest.
So we're looking for people who can give $1,000 each. If you can be part of the select group, that's amazing.
Otherwise, just please give whatever you can. Every dollar counts.
It's our collective responsibility to share the message of Islam with our fellow human beings. Please help us continue this good work.
It's a sadaqah jariyah, something that will continue to be a benefit to the Muslim community long after Safiya and I are gone.
Please support our work at muslimmediahub.com.
Your support is zakat eligible and tax deductible.
May Allah bless you and your loved ones today and always. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.